Wow, there's tough shooting nights, and what you saw from the Sixers tonight is a really tough shooting night. They don't even get to 100 points as they fall to the Brooklyn Nets in the final game before the All-Star break. This is Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Kyoto Insurance. Amy Fadul, the coach, Jim Lennon, and our big man, Mark Jackson. And gentlemen, there's really, Mark, you said it best, not a good way to put a spin on this one positively. You don't have much to take away, and we're going to find some positives. I think Quentin Grimes had some good stuff. Jared Butler, Kelly Oubre, but in the whole, the result is the same, Mark.
Yeah, the result and the bottom line is wins and losses, and unfortunately this goes in the L category. You know, we talk about this team struggling when everybody came back. Mm-hmm. You know, do we expect something different? We expect more of a battle against a team that's below us, but we get what we get. This team, 76ers, did not look like a team that played with a sense of urgency. Certain guys did not go out their way or respectfully did not push the envelope a little bit. And to me, it's got me scratching my head.
So Tyrese Maxey was out for this one. So was Joel Embiid. Sixers are now 1-7 without Maxey. Other guys trying to step up in this one. But, Coach, you know, push comes to shove, they're 20-34 on the season. There's really no way to make that look positive. You can't sugarcoat it.
No, and you said it, Amy. You know, failing to score 100 points, 96? And this league today, if you don't shoot the three, I don't know what the final percentage is. It's going to be less than one quarter, so below 25% from three. That's not going to cut it in a league where the average team shoots 36%. And there's no other way to say, but Paul George, you simply need more baskets from him. I know he had a tough shooting night. Well, one field goal.
One basket.
Yeah, when you're without Embiid and you're without Tyrese Maxey, 2 points. I mean, the other, good 6 rebounds, get some assists, yes, but bottom line, you need his point production.
Yeah, I mean, he took 7 shots, 0 for 5, and you mentioned it was just over 24% from 3. Paul George really struggled in this one. I mean, the numbers show it, but the eye test also shows it. Turnovers, bad shot selection. I know, obviously, good defense on him, but not the best defense. This is the Brooklyn Nets, Mark Jackson. They just picked up their 20th win of the season.
Yeah, I agree with you, Amy. They played tremendous defense versus Sixers, but not enough to shut down a perennial all-star. 1 for 7 shooting. Did they double him like right here? They played some good things. They did some good things, but I said it last night. No team can stop a guy one-on-one. You know, a guy has to be willing to accept being stopped. And like right here, look at this. That was a good double team though. But like, where's the bailout? Where's the guys? I thought guys was in position to receive the outlet pass. It just didn't happen, and that's how it was all night.
36.5 minutes, Coach. 1 field goal. Do you think there's something going on with him? We know he had the pinky issue, and obviously, he had some other issues to start the season. I mean, I'm trying to look for a reason that a guy that's a 9-time All-Star has one field goal.
Yeah, I wish I could explain it. I would say 2 things. 3 of those turnovers you just saw were results of double teams. And I think that's kind of a sign that teams are playing him aggressively. But he has to respond to that, even if it means like taking less than what would be deemed a real good shot. So you got to take a couple bad shots, so be it. But when your team is undermanned to this degree, there's no question. I mean, he's one of the best scorers, obviously, left in your lineup, and he just has to go out and try to create shots. If that means you get some bad shots and shoot a low percentage, my response would be, so be it, but get them in the air.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to earlier this season where Tyrese Maxey was the only option out there, and he would have poor shooting nights. That's one of the reasons that he started off, quote-unquote, slow on the year. You'd see his numbers would be 11 for 25. He was the only guy out there shooting, but to Coach's point, he was out there at least shooting. You see the poor shooting, 1 for 7, and then, Mark, you see not a single free throw. 0 for 0. And I think that says a lot about how maybe just lack of aggressiveness, just not being able to get something going in a positive direction for himself.
Not being able to get something going, period. Whether it's positive, negative, but trying to get something going. It's just you need the aggression to be a continuous flow of attacking, continuous flow of searching, hunting. And let me put that in perspective. Some players say, I don't hunt shots. Well, you can do that when you have a complement of players, where you can kind of sit back, let the game play, and just play within a flow. But if you are put in a position to be a primary scorer, you have to hunt shots. You have to hunt opportunities. And that's going to come with some turnovers. That's going to come with some bad shots. That's going to come, but it's acceptable because we appointed you to be that role player. That role player is score buckets. So you are allowed to make mistakes. You have a longer leash to be able to go out there and have failure, but as long as you know you have an opportunity to regain your strength and to try again.
Yeah, I think that, we heard from Paul George last night after the loss to the Raptors that was here. And, it was Joel Embiid played in that game. Tyrese Maxey played in that game, albeit he was hurt. And he said, I'm just having trouble kind of, meshing and getting everybody on the same page. And then you have, yes, it's the 33rd different starting lineup, but at some point he has to kind of go back to what he knows, which is good basketball, and rely upon that, Coach, I think. And why do you think that he's just not able to get that going?
Yeah, as I said, I'm not going to sit here and invent reasons that I honestly don't have. Just watching him, I would say you got to be more aggressive. When I say make things happen, I mean, like if you're not open to shoot a ball, when you receive a pass, then you drop your head and you penetrate a ball. That's been Paul George's game his whole career. It's just hard for me. I mean, as you get older, obviously, you're not the same athletically as you were, in the prime of your career. And Paul George is, 36 years old, I guess, at this point in time. But to see the fall off from where he was in terms of an offensive player the end of last year to now, it's a bit confusing to me.
Yes, it is. We'll see if Nick Nurse has any answers. Let's join him now at the podium.
I guess what kind of led to Paul and Rose not being able to get rolling offensively?
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of double teaming on him, right, for one thing, so that limited some of his shot opportunities. I thought he had just a couple other, ones that I thought maybe he would have pulled the trigger on as well. I thought he was really giving good effort and playing, which is why I kept him in there. He was really good defensively, and don't read much into it, but he's still I know that's not what offensively we want to see. He's still a +8 and a +-, so he was given some great effort on D and playing pretty hard.
This is, I think, 5 games maybe for Paul since he came back and he's playing with the splint. I guess, how much do you, the scoring is way down, even the creation for others is way down. How much do you feel like that is affecting him, and is there hope that it's something that he's going to be able to get used to?
Yeah, I just, only thing I can say is, you probably have to ask him how he's feeling about it. I do, and, usually he says, feels like it's getting better, but where that's coming from, what point that's coming from, I don't know. I mean, I do notice some mishandles out there with his left hand, just not necessarily turnovers, but just not some rhythm and smooth things that probably affect both his getting into his shot and his passing a little bit. So, I mean, you said it. It is not great efficiency since he hurt his finger. All right, and hopefully we get some time. Hopefully it'll heal up and get a little bit better. Again, he missed 5 games before that too, and right before that, I thought he was really starting to come into his own. So hopefully we can get him back to that rhythm at some point.
To that point, I mean, what did you see from Jared and Quinn? I mean, you went to the starting lineup tonight. Quinn with 30 points. Jared looked like he was running the offense really well. What did you see out of those two?
Yeah, I mean, we had to decide who we were going to start at point with Tyrese out. And, once we decided to go with Jared again, I think it was a little bit more of just possible offense creation. And then we did the same, putting Q in, again, just to have a little more spacing and some offensive creation there. And obviously, Q played a good game. And I thought Jared had a solid game. I think he probably like to have a few of those drives back that he, kind of lost control of the ball a couple times. I don't know how many. Yeah, 4 turnovers, that's probably a little high for him. I think he got by and he got in there and he thought something good was going to happen, and then he didn't have the ball with him a couple times. But as you guys saw, we were really searching for the right combination tonight, right? There was a lot of stuff going on with stuff. I think, Yabu just said, Coach, I'm give you everything I got, but I'm really, my legs are heavy, and, so I'm moving things around. I think it took us, that last lineup, and we put Q on the point, right? And then Kelly and Justin. I thought Justin had a really solid game, very, very, very aggressive and solid. And then, I thought Bona was providing some good energy and protecting the paint and the rebounding a little bit. So that group we finally got to, made a good run there after getting down, whatever they got down. But a lot of searching going on for the right guys tonight, right combinations, which you might expect. Yeah.
Nick, I know you talked about Paul, being out for 5 games, but tonight with Joel and Maxey out, would you have liked him to be a little bit more aggressive, looking for his own shot?
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a couple opportunities there, Keith, and again, they double teamed him a lot. They weren't going to give him a ton of looks. I thought they pressured him up the floor when he got in actions, even off ball stuff. They would send 2 to him, so he didn't really have much choice on a lot of them to move the ball. I thought he did turn down a couple. Out of some that were, I was really expecting him to shoot. But again, he's just, he's moving the ball, playing hard on D, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, did we need him to score some more points? Yeah, but we needed lots of people too as well, right?
As far as
it was tough tonight.
Sorry, as far as the center minutes went, I don't think he went to a dem until the last few minutes of the first half, and then he was your primary backup center in the second half, and you went with him for most of the fourth. I guess, what did you see that made you want to go to a dem in that spot?
Well, in his last few minutes of the first half, he came right in and erased a shot, right? And we were having trouble at the rim. I mean, obviously part of their game plan was to put their head down and go to the rim. With the size advantage and things that they had at a lot of the spots, and he went in there and protected the rim, rebounded well. Again, liked his energy. It's on back-to-backs, you're searching for who's got the spark and who can bring a spark. And I thought he did in the third, so we went with him again. Yep. In the second. Yeah.
Just being at the All-Star break now, what's at the top of your mind as far as how the season's gone, and what are the main things you'll be thinking about in terms of how to solve some issues over this break? Yeah,
I mean, what's at the top of my mind? At the top of my mind is getting as healthy as we can, obviously. Getting back to maybe some square one things, and when we get back and getting to work on, hopefully we got to kind of not look back. It's been as difficult a season as it can be on a lot of fronts. But again, we can't focus on that. We got to focus on what's in front of us, and what's in front of us is trying to figure out how to play well together, play harder, play better D, play better O. Just try to get some focus back. Hopefully, the break will give us a chance to digest some things and understand we still got a lot of basketball to play. Go from there. Thanks, Coach. Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Going to step away, start at square one, hopefully get healthy. That is some good advice for the All-Star break. We're also going to do some of that. Of course, we're going to enjoy an Eagles parade in the meantime as well. That's going to help us get healthy. But we're going to talk about a crazy ending. Listen, we thought this one was a foregone conclusion, down 10 points with about a minute to go, but the Sixers made it very interesting. We're also going to look at some big nights from Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre. That and more when we come back here on Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. We're coming right back